I
don't back then.
What it do, what it do, what it do, good people, coming to you live from Tez TV 410. I'm your host, Tez Dean. Before we get started, I need y'all to like, share, subscribe to the channel. People, listen, usually say I ain't gonna hold you long, but I'm gonna hold you long. I'm just gonna hold you just a little second here tonight. Yes, indeed. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. I got the national champions. I got the national champions on the platform. Eddie Oliver.
Yes, sir.
I like to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is, listen, I don't care if one person watched this. I needed to hear this for my own self.
Right.
However, good people, great men. Some other people, matter of fact, let's start with Bernie. I just never said your name. But I want y'all to, I would like for y'all to say y'all name, where y'all from, and then we go from there.
Well, you already said it. I'm Vernon Hill. I don't necessarily know where you mean where I'm from. I'm from Baltimore. I grew up in the city on the west side. And
there we go.
So yeah, that's who I am.
I guess I'm next up. I'm Paul Edwards. I'm from Green Mountain 33rd behind Old Memorial Stadium.
Boy, you date yourself. Boy.
I'm Eddie Oliver. I'm from East Baltimore, Harford Road, 25th Street.
Okay. See, this for locals.
Yeah, and I'm Mark Wilson. I'm from East Side, Latrobe Projects, man. There you go, man. Baltimore, Maryland.
now, people, for my out of towners, I always ask all my guests where they from. I always ask where they from. I always ask where they from, because in town, it's gonna come to the recreation. We're gonna get back to the recreation. We're gonna get back to that. However, these men right here, they made history. When I mean they made history, far as this was the first, they wasn't the first black people that played. However, far as in a group, because there was two of them that went to Calvert Hall first. However, as a whole, these men went up in Towson, went to an all-boys school out of East and West Baltimore, and they excelled. You know, they come from one world into another world. So some people don't know. Some people can't adjust to that. There's a lot of us that couldn't adjust to that, past, future, and present. However, these men did. And when they and the noise they made when they went to Calvert Hall, it went nationally. It went nationally. I read it. It went nationally. But we're gonna start. Let's start. Let's start off with saying this. Good evening. As far as your families and everything, I hope everyone is doing well. Health-wise and everything, we dealing with all types of issues out here. I'm not trying to go there. This ain't political. However, people, let's get to it. We had Pop, he's not here right now. Let's talk about the recreation. What rec centers did y'all play for?
I played for Madison. My entire young career.
and listen, there's a reason why I'm asking this, because I know that y'all went 41 and what? 40 was it 41 and 41 and or 41 and 2? It was something crazy. It was something ridiculous. And the reason why I had to point that out, because we have some people here that say we ain't the best recreation team ever, but people don't know their history. People don't understand their history. I was one that thought that basketball started when I played. Like I'm gonna tell y'all just a little, and I'm gonna let y'all talk. I'm gonna let y'all talk. Y'all get the platform. Y'all go as long as y'all want. I go to a Dunbar just before I even transferred into Dunbar Calvert Hall at Calvert Hall Friday night, my 9th grade year. I don't know what assistant coach it was, right? So they come to me and they say, "You ready to come home?" I'm with my uncle. right at this time. So my uncle say, come home. What you mean come home? Yeah, Reggie come to the hall. One of my best friends, Reggie Brown, went to Calvert Hall. So I'm like, at this time, you know, when you're in ninth grade, you're a kid. So everything sounds good to you. Everything sounds. However, I said I wasn't going to no all boys school. Man, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Y'all went to all boys school. However, let's start from Sarge. Mark played down. Mark said he played for Madison. They was, and at this time, y'all had the Herman and Reeds. Y'all had Reggie, like y'all Reggie Lowe's a baby. However, y'all had the Muggsy Bowls. Y'all had legends. All this was legends. I'm talking about the era, not just y'all. I'm talking about from.
Because I'm waiting my turn. I'm waiting my turn, Dantes. So don't say Muggs played for Madison because I'm waiting my turn.
No, it was Flag House, right? Or Lafayette.
That's right. That's me. Lafayette.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you played for Lafayette, and Muff over here went 41 and what was y'all record? 41 and so they spanked y'all a little bit. They spanked y'all caught a little bit of that.
I don't know, Dantes. Huh?
Like,
We're gonna have to go back to the books and take a look, man. We're gonna have to take a look. Let me tell you this though. Let me tell you this, Dantes, because they make that comparison about that Calvert Hall and Dunbar game, which was historical. And the guys that are on here right now, we all played together for 3 years. But the majority of the years that we spent in our growth years, those BNBL years, we played against each other. Right. And when I played with Mark and Pop and Vernon and Eddie during the school year, but in the summertime, BNBL and Project Survival, Daryl and I went and played BNBL Project Survival against those guys. That's when we teamed up with Muggsy and Reggie Williams and Kevin Woods and all those guys. So we played them that one game, but I spent 6 years of my, from 12 to 18 playing with Dunbar guys and against my Calvert Hall crew. But people tend to think that Calvert Hall versus Dunbar, that was just a school year. That was just 3 years of our lives. It is that one game that intertwines us all. But the beauty of it is that as we will always be intertwined because of that game, but we've never had any squabbles or beef from the public in that Dunbar, Calvert Hall, the players have always respected one another.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I hear. Like everybody will say, you know, we all do it, you know. It's a fraternity, it's a basketball fraternity. We all gonna crack out jokes, but the respect level that I even heard. Like I said before I came over here, they said, tell them they wasn't gonna beat us when Muggsy came. They wasn't going, you see what I'm saying? Like it's all love, because they said at the same time. Tell my guys, I said, what's up? You know what I mean? Like.
Hey, Tez.
Yeah.
Hey, Tez. Here's the thing, though. The year before, their starting five, I mean, Gary, Cofield, David, Russ, Turtle, was a triple time. It was a triple triple time win for Calvert Hall. But the following year, I mean, they had the same lineup except Turtle, and they replaced it with Muggs. So basically, what's the difference?
Sure. See, I see where y'all going. I got questions. We already jumping all the way over there to Dunbar, and I'm not trying. But okay, because it's y'all interview. I wanted to talk about Sarge a little bit first. I want to talk about Sarge because he played a big part in all of that. You know, can y'all tell the people a little bit about Sarge and what type legend he is still to the day in Baltimore.
Yeah, I'll speak on that. You know, Sarge is, you know, kind of like our dad away from our regular dads. I know he was for me. And I mean, I grew up around Sarge because I used to hang out with his nephew. And, while we were playing basketball at Madison, we also played the Buccaneers, which was also out of Madison Recreation Center, along with B Boston, and even William Wells. So, we're down there, and Sarge a great guy. I mean, to this day, he's still, some of our favorite coach, but he's always in our hearts, and, calling you on your birthday or texting you or whatever it is. And every time we have an outing at Calvert Hall of some sort, he's in attendance, which always, let us know that he always have our best intentions in mind. So, I grew up around Sarge. He was my dad away from home. Me and Pop, we were from Johnston Square, which is about, maybe 3 or 4 blocks from Madison. So him and B and Wells and them took us in, and, from there, man, we just started balling. And, here comes Eddie, here comes Melvin Mathis, here comes, we had a ton of people. Even Sam Cassell came through. He was a younger player in our time. Herman Hareed and all those were younger, but nevertheless, Sarge has played an integral part in all of our lives. And, some of you guys can speak on how y'all felt about him, but, without him, man, who knows where we would have been as youngsters.
Okay. And Vernon, you from?
Yeah, I'm from the West Side, so I actually started out at John Eager Howard, and I used to play against those guys. We used to all, like Paul said, we used to play against each other, especially summer ball. I got started with a guy by the name of Charlie Harrison, and he was like, a big brother who kind of mentored me and kind of taught me the basics of the game. And so he was there at John Eager Howard. However, he got transferred to another rec center. So for 12-14, I actually got a call from Mr. Lee, who was coaching Lafayette at the time.
Edgar Bell. Edgar Bell Lee.
Yeah. But there was always this
Tweety
major...
Bird. Tweety Bird is what they used to call him, Tweety Bird.
But there was this major rivalry between us and Lafayette, West Side, East Side thing. And so if I was going to play for an East Side team, Charlie did not want to see me play for Lafayette. So he called Sarge, and Sarge had talked to me that summer after BNBL. He said, man, we'd like to get you to play with the Buccaneers this winter. But Sarge never called me. Mr. Lee did. Okay. So I went and practiced with Lafayette one night. But then Sarge finally called me, and Charlie said, man, he called Sarge. Charlie called Sarge and told Sarge, you need to call Vernon because I don't want him playing at Lafayette. So Sarge calls me up, and then, I went over to play for him, play with the Buccaneers, practice one night with the Buccaneers. And so I think when I first came in, people was kind of like looked at me and they was like, what are you doing over here?
That's why I asked. You know what I'm saying? The East Baltimore thing, I already know. He coming over here.
It was like that at first, because that's when, I played with Eddie and Dwayne 12-14 with the Buccaneers. And so, but Sarge is a great guy, man. He, there was coming up during our time, and there's still guys around somewhat like them. But, Mark hit it on the head. Sarge, B, Charlie Harrison, William Wells, Mr. Howard, and Mr. Lee with Lafayette. Some of those guys, man, they were just committed to helping young men become, stay out of trouble, stay out of trouble, and become better people and ball players. And so so there's some guys, who did a lot for young men coming through that, really not celebrated like they should be. And definitely Sarge is somebody who ought to be celebrated. I think, truthfully, I don't know if we've done it yet, but, we now have the basketball, the Catholic League Basketball Hall of Fame, and I think him and B should be entered in as contributors to the league.
Good point.
Man, that'd be good. That's definitely love, because it's well overdue, especially for Sarge. Now, I never played with him, and I didn't play against him. However, but I had my friends, and I hear so much good about him. Like, but he's a man. Like, you just ain't going. Vernon, you said it's some out here. It's not too many out here now. It's wake and bake now. And I know Mark can probably attest that he got to talk to these people because he's still in it. He's still in the mix. So it's a whole. And I'm not throwing shade. I'm just trying to be truthful for the thing. Like,
well, I will say this, because those guys did it for nothing. They really what they just wanted. They did it for our best interest. No. Now you got a lot of guys I know that they're looking for the next prospect for them to get a bag. That's kind of a lot of what I see now, even though I'm not really on the scene like that anymore. But I've been around long enough that, there's guys who scout and prospects. So, if that guy take off, they take off, so that's what you see a lot of now. But those guys back in that day, they did it just because they cared about us, really, more or less. And I mean, they gave a lot of their time and resources to us, and that was a big help, and something that I'll never forget.
They worked other jobs as well, so like we say, they just gave everything to us, man, and like I said, treat us like family. So
it's now the kids now. I mean, man, I'll be doing a lot of officiating, and you have a lot of forfeits. When we were playing, there wasn't no forfeits. Man, Sarge and B would pack all of us in the car, or even some of the parents, we'd get in their car. Man, we went to Pennsylvania. We had a tournament in Philadelphia. We traveled here. We traveled there. We didn't have no forfeits.
Right.
Sarge cared for us, man. He really did.
Now, I bring up Sarge, right? Like I said, he played a big part in that whole in that whole movement. Now, a couple articles that I read, they called y'all traitors. I read even Coach Wade. I'm sorry, Coach Wade. He even said this in the paper. He don't know those players. He don't know where they come from. This, that, and the third. Like, so I want y'all to tell the people the climate around that time. Like, how did y'all feel? How did y'all parents? What was the interaction at dinner time? Because that was a big decision that y'all made.
Yeah.
Like, what was the climate? When y'all hearing this, y'all going to Calvert Hall? Ooh, he ain't gonna take care of y'all. Ooh, this, that, and the third. Y'all know y'all heard it. Y'all heard it all. Like, how did y'all maneuver through all of that?
For me, man, like I said, my entire family, my mom, my dad, aunts, and they all went to Dunbar. And it was just an opportunity, I mean, Pop and I had some great opportunities. We could have followed, Dunbar and Kosher and Duke, because that's what the word was. We were the next in line to go to Dunbar and be their star guards. We didn't look at it that way, to be honest. I mean, we were still young, but, we had our own minds. And actually, if we didn't go to Calvert Hall, we were going to Cardinal Gibbons, because a lot of times during the 12-14 season, we would go watch Cardinal Gibbons play with Quentin Daly and little Purnell. So me and Pop was like, shit, that's us, versus Coach and Duke, even though we knew those guys. And as Paul alluded to, they were friends of ours throughout our childhood. But as far as all the static or whatever, I don't even think we really heard it as much, and or if it was out there. We came in what, 80, 81, 82, Paul? And it was just the start of it. But, I mean, Mr. Wade, I remember saying, we'd love to have you, but that's about it. I mean, it wasn't like you're a traitor or whatever. I never felt that. I don't think me and Pop ever felt that through, really, even when we played Dunbar, and beat them. It was no static, because, like, we respected each other, And so, you know, we had our minds that, hey, we're going to go somewhere and help a program, you know, go to the next level. Calvert Hall was a football school, and we knew of, you know, Daryl and Paul and some others. And, you know, Tooch came and, you know, he kept coming to the games, and, you know, he kind of outworked the rest of them. We visited one time to Cardinal Gibbons and talked to Mr. Mullers, you know, rest in peace, but talked to him. And we met him one time, and then it was done. We didn't talk to him till school was open. He asked us, called us, and asked us where we were. We like, what do you mean? You know, I mean, that big. So he thought like, oh, they visited us. I gave him an offer. He expected us to be there, but, you know, Pop and I said, we're going to Calvert Hall, you know, and the rest was history, really. You know, everybody came in, we did what we had to do over those next three years. And, you know, magic was there, man. But I didn't feel all the static. I didn't hear all the noise. My mom was comfortable every night at dinner. She was happy we were out there. And hey, you know, my mom and Pop mom were like him and I, best of friends, you know. So again, going through all that, I didn't hear any that much static, or if any, to be honest.
Now, Eddie, you know it's coming to you because your name is in the paper. Eddie Oliver. They said it was Gibbons, Calvert Hall, and was it Loyola?
Towson Catholic.
And they had a whole little page. It wasn't no little small. And he went. I don't know if it was Mr. Mullers, rest in peace. But he said, no, we don't do that.
We freeze up.
Yeah.
On my end.
He froze.
Yeah.
Froze, stairs.
Hit him up, Eddie, and see what's up. May have to call us back.
I think he's trying to come back on.
Oh, did you hear me?
Back?
Okay. We got you now.
I'm back. It kind of like shut, like it lost. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
I added that part out. Did you hear my the last thing I was talking about, Eddie, was the newspaper quoted your mother talking about the high schools and stuff, recruiting, and they was talking about BNBL, how it was coaches coming from all over to watch y'all play, and BNBL and Project Survival, things of that nature. So tell me, Eddie, how did you feel at this time?
Well, I had took a visit to Gibbons and Towson Catholic, but really once Mark and Pop went to Calvert Hall, and then Dwayne went, so I was pretty much going to Calvert Hall.
Oh, you so?
That's just how it was, because we all played together and we was trying to keep this team together. We try to keep these group of guys together for the next level. So I was going to Calvert Hall. Like it says in the documentary, we were trying to build a dynasty.
Yeah,
everybody can't go to Dunbar, man, and that's I think if you're a player in Baltimore, especially in East Baltimore, it's kind of a given that when you go to high school, you're going to go to Dunbar. Well, right. What you got to understand is if you go to Dunbar, they already have players. So if you go, you're either going to try to outplay somebody or you're just going to fight for minutes. As a player, you want to get as many minutes as you can. So why go to Dunbar and maybe split minutes with Muggsy, split minutes with Gary Graham, split minutes with David Wingate, when you can go to Calvert Hall and we're trying to build something. We're talking about 30, 35 minutes a game versus 16, 18 minutes a game.
Man, sure.
But you gotta have that vision. You gotta have that vision as a ninth grader or somebody to say, look, you can go over there and play, but you can go here and make a difference. You know,
go ahead, Mark. I ain't mean, excuse me, Paul, but I really want to say this. I really want to say this. When we came down to Madison,
Mhm.
it's a guy that was, when me and Dwayne came down there, this guy by the name of Mark Wilson. I used to watch him, man. Now, remind you, I'm 12 years old. I'm only 12. And I'm playing against Mark Wilson, who to me is one of the top guards to come out of Baltimore. And for me to be 12 years old, man, and he was 14 at the time, and I'm playing against this guy, man, I idolize him still to this day. So when him and Pop
University of Minnesota. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I idolize Mark, man, and he know this because I tell him this. And when him and Pop made the transitions from the Buccaneers to Calvert Hall, and I've been playing with Paul. I mean, we had a tournament in Virginia, and me and Paul stayed over this guy's house, the AAU tournament. Yeah. And me and Paul became real close friends. And once them guys went to Calvert Hall, man, that was it. Because me and Vernon had talked about it. We was going next. We was going there next. It wasn't no other school. Lake Clifton, we could have Lake Clifton, Gibbons, Loyola. It was already Calvert Hall. But I just wanted to say.
What about you? Was it strictly Calvert Hall, or was you like, you know what? I'm thinking about this school over here, and I'm coming to you next, Vernon.
Who's that? Me, Taz?
You?
Yes.
Yeah. Look, like I said, I followed Daryl everywhere, but we went to the same grade school. We went to St. Mary's Govans. So I've been to Catholic school all my life. So I never gave Dunbar a hard look. It was mostly the Catholic League. Was it going to be Towson Catholic? Was it going to be Cardinal Gibbons? Was it going to be Calvert Hall? And like Mark said, Ray Mullis hit the city kids hard and wanted everybody to come there. And if you were a player, you looked up to Quentin Daly. So I wanted to kind of follow Quentin because he was smooth too, man. Quentin Daly did his thing at Cardinal Gibbons.
Let me ask y'all something. I'm sorry to cut you off, Paul. Right? But this, I look at this Quentin Daly, Skip Wise. Who was the best scorer? Talk to me. And then we're gonna go. We're gonna do it a little bit, then we're gonna get back.
Yeah. That's one of those conversations, man, that you can't win. If you just want to argue and be confrontational, you can beat your drum and go either way. But for real, you pick either one of them and you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
Man, listen. Reason why
I would say Skip was a better shooter. Skip was a better shooter and ball handler.
Say it one more time, Vernon.
I think Skip was a better shooter and ball handler.
Okay.
Now, Quentin was a better athlete. He could jump out the gym.
Well, he was like Michael before. I mean,
Yeah, Quentin was an athlete who could jump out the gym, but Skip was a shooter and a ball handler.
Okay, all right. So I know where you going with it, Vern. I know where you going with it, Vern.
I mean, I didn't see a lot of. I mean, I heard more about Skip than I saw him. So, in my perspective, I watched Quentin play kind of on a nightly basis for like 2 years, and heard it. So I'll be partial to him only because of what I saw. It's kind of like that debate now, as Paul said. Whatever way you go, so you're gonna have some that's for Skip, some that's for Quentin. Same as you got the GOAT situation now with Michael and LeBron, whole nine. Whoever you've seen most recently, or we're fortunate to see both Michael, LeBron, and Kobe now. But I heard a lot about Skip, and Gibson and all those guys, but I never saw him play on an extended basis. So, but I did hear what Vernon was saying. Smooth jump shooter and You know, he was able to go to Clemson. Then he, you know, played with the Baltimore Claws. You know, all that was kind of as we were growing up. But Quentin was a mother, man. I'm telling you.
Let me ask you this then, Mark. What guy did you look at when you was coming up that you was like, oh, I like this game. I got to take a little bit and take a little bit out of this game and put it in my bag. Who was that guy for you?
Well, I mean, again, it would be Quentin Daly because of, you know, at that time and juncture, you know, he was like probably the most prominent player in my eyes, you know. You know, it's funny because we used to go to a lot of Dunbar games too. You know, we used to see, you know, Duke and Kosher play, you know, those nights like that. But Quentin was the most explosive and